and welcome to the Talk the Untalked show, and I am Dipali. Today in conversation is the topic that surrounds the education system of our country. While education is considered to be the greatest input while producing the greatest output as human resources, do you think our education system and country has been able to live up to the expected standard? Here's a quick conversation I have with my honorable guest. So ma'am, to begin with, let's have a little output or analysis of how do you think is our education system going on in the country?
I think we are seeing a huge revolution today. Then the way the education, overall the framework is, there is a transformational change, I would say, especially with this disruptive era with technology changing, the way the international market is. So there is a lot of need for change in curriculum design, delivery, overall emphasis on a lot of courses which are the new need of the industry. So for example, if you see certain new programs like, whether it is MBA, business analytics or data science or programs on artificial intelligence, they are becoming very, very popular. So we see a change. And on the other side, if you look at, it is equally important, certain courses which became now a strong pillar are courses in psychology. With the changing world, there is a huge demand for courses that let people take good decisions. So even liberal arts. So there is a lot of, change that we see today.
All right. So ma'am, there are times when students after school, when they are in dilemma, and they rather than choosing the course, they might choose the college over course, or there are times when because of the fact that they're not able to get a good college, they are more focused on choosing a particular course that they're supposed to do. So what do you think about the scenario, course versus college?
What I see is, yes, today it is you have to follow your passion.
Right.
But at the same time, they have to be clear about the kind of environment they will be in. So I am not talking about that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in terms of college ranking, but more to do with whether that particular course is available in the college, what kind of basic infrastructure which is there, which is very relevant, whether they will be getting a good industry exposure if they go to that college, what are the kind of faculty members who are there. So while making a decision, it is very important to choose the right course. And because tomorrow you have to look at not those next 3 years in college, but what are you going to do for life?
Right.
So it's more about your dreams, your direction that you want to have. So they have to make a decision, and I feel a student should decide on themselves, not just listen to any other people and make a choice.
Okay. Ma'am, in the current day and age, there are times when how we are getting educated as students, the environment that there is, it is a bit different from the workplace that we go. So there is a difference. Is Amity University or any university for that matter focusing on how a student is prepared to get when this person gets into the workplace?
This is a great question. We say, especially if you look at our university, we have the centers of excellence where students start participating. So these are the practice research outreach centers. So what happens is, right from this time a student is inducted into a curriculum or a program, they are connected with the industry, the alumni, and they work on life projects, they work on industry immersion programs, they go out for study abroad, they go into a different industry. So this is extremely important. So I would suggest that every student, they should choose extra credit hours to do certain programs or certification that will be an enabler for your later on employment opportunities.
Okay. Ma'am, what do you think, apart from the normal courses that there are, what about the vocational courses? How is your university helping out in imparting vocational courses to the students?
If you look at I was talking about the changing times and the paradigm shift, what is happening, there are different programs which are now brought into the mainstream. So here we have, for example, in my university, we have a skill institution, so where we offer skill tracks. So along with doing a particular course, people can even do a course on, say, digital marketing. People can work out a particular course in the area of animation. People can can work on applied areas of analytics, data analytics. So it's extremely important that they have to have an exposure into the industry-led courses and the vocational programs, training, even basic thing. For example, as a life coach, when I'm mentoring some of the corporate sectors, even in the IT industry, after students pass out as software engineers, they are facing problems in communication. Like even when they are negotiating for a deal, they find a problem.
Correct.
So it is important that those skills need to be ingrained in them. For example, we offer value-added courses in communication.
Yes,
so even to a technical person, it's not important how you operate your machine or your software, but also how you communicate to your clients.
Right.
So I think that approach is very important.
Ma'am, while shortlisting universities, a student always has a factor of placements. So how is it that your university is helping out students in getting more opportunities after college?
So I think today I always tell my students that you should have a dream job, and then you should have a reality check what you are good at. But at the same time, it is a must that all higher learning institutions right from day one should have a complete dedicated team working with the students, because they are going to be the future leaders of the different industries. So we have a corporate resource center, and we have very, very strong faculty members who also mentor in the corporate resource center, helping them, preparing them for interviews. And we have industry people also. For example, whether it's a CEO dinner series where a CEO comes and spends time with the students. We have a lot of CXOs and general managers who are actually visiting and preparing our students. So it is a very, very important thing. And through that, there is a there's a vicarious learning. Students also see their faculty who are consulting, who are doing management development programs. So there is a lot of learning that takes place through this.
Ma'am, apart from this, how is it that universities ensure quality of faculty and teachers, as in terms of how we are all advancing? If I'm talking about technology, there's always advancement and there's always it's always evolving. How do you think is the faculty maintaining the quality of education as the things are changing?
So there are three very important things that I talk about whenever I talk about faculty. Faculty, first and foremost, has to be the knowledge resource. Correct. So you should have faculty who have really done well, academically brilliant people, who have the ability and the inclination and the passion to teach. Second very important aspect should be they should be a continuous learner. So research becomes an integral part of any faculty, whether it is a publication, whether it is patenting, whether it is joint collaborative industry research project. And the third area is faculty working with the industry, whether it is developing case studies, whether it is being a resource person and helping a particular industry. And these three things really combine a faculty to become a great teacher for their own students. And finally, it's not the fourth point, but a very important aspect that I want to really plug in here is the concept of care towards students.
Correct. Ma'am, what in your opinion is our Indian education, how is it that Indian education ailing right now? What do you think are loopholes that our education system facing and should work upon?
I would say that it is evolving, and there are certain very big strong points in terms of the knowledge part is concerned. However, if you see in the education global rankings, you won't find many best institutions also figuring at high places in the global ranking. So one of the areas that I think that Indian education system should look into could be the diversity that they can bring in.
Okay.
For example, already in institutions you have a lot of international students, but possibly we should have more diverse faculty, more diverse industries which can be brought in, and that becomes a very important part along with research and other areas for international rankings and accreditations.
Okay, ma'am, so if we talk about education right now, if you are evaluating a school, so it is mostly like a government school has a tad bit of a little value in comparison to a private school. A private school is way more preferred, but when it comes to the university level, people are all for government institutions. Why do you think is this change? What you
mean at the higher level for government
Yes.
institutions? I see a huge change that has happened. If you see about 15-20 years back, a great change happened, and now it's all one. If you look at, there is more than 50% of higher education is in the private hands, and there has been a great competition. If you look at the NIRF rankings and all, you will see some of the best performers institutions. So there is no discrimination that the government is making in terms of private, public, deemed or whatever. So it's about the people who are winning are people who are good at it. Okay. So I mean basically institution building, creating a culture, a ecosystem where there is a lot of learning, and alongside how you take people along with you, teachers, students, grooming them. Right. So that is something which is happening. So students are choosing courses based on their interest areas, but I think that is something which is very important, to create an ambience, that environment.
Okay. Ma'am, in terms of colleges, there's privatization, but apart from that, there's also a little bit of disparity in terms of the fee structure that we talk about. So what is it that the universities are doing in terms of imparting access of knowledge to people who might not be able to access these resources?
It's a good point, but if you have to possibly give a great infrastructure, and if you do not have, subsidies and other grants that you receive, but how universities are doing it is that universities does great projects, best of the government agencies, whether it is MNRE or DST or DBT, huge funding is received by research faculty at the university, where state-of-the-art labs and research facilities are developed where students can work on it. So I think that is the way that university really helps students, because most of the university's aim is that their students should be the best learners and they go out successful. So this is something that the universities are doing, and I suggest that basically that CSR funds that the industries have. I often talk to my industry friends and I tell them that at least a part of the CSR funds can really be spent on the youth of India.
Ma'am, last question. So, Amity University, apart from being in India, there are other countries, say in Dubai or in US. So, do you see some difference in the education that happens if we differentiate in terms of India and then the other countries?
I would tell you that Amity has created a great history in terms of the way it has transformed the way private education was looked at. So not only that it is interculturally very strong now, it is diverse. The only difference that I can tell you that possibly if we have 36-40 countries of students studying at Amity University, Haryana, Gurugram, we have possibly more than 50 countries in Dubai, because that is even more multicultural. However, in terms of our curriculum design, there is already a very strong, understanding about the quality. Okay. So it is very similar, but there is a lot of flexibility depending on which institutions are offering what kind of courses.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was great talking to you.
Same here.